filling in for Roxy's big news as Roxy is out saving the world. Yes, Roxy is over at the Walmart headquarters doing a big campaign for Walmart. So I'm here with your big news. It's a tattoo, and check this out really quick. Rob Kardashian. I don't know. He hasn't been in the news lately. He's that Kardashian that doesn't like so much attention. Rob Kardashian. What do you think, Michelle? Is he a good-looking guy, Rob Kardashian? Are you attracted to Rob Kardashian?
I always thought he was cute.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say, I'm one of those people that I'm not exactly always looking for the most aesthetically,
good-looking
guy.
So
I don't think that he good-looking, yeah. But just because he's not built like a Greek god doesn't mean that he's not attractive.
So, a regular, average-looking guy has a chance to date you. You're not into...
You should see some of my exes. Trust me.
Really?
You know what it is? You can't. I don't know. You got to go off of chemistry. Does it make me laugh? That's a huge thing.
Jeez, I think I'm a pretty freaking funny guy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Rob Kardashian's Instagram ban, I didn't even know he was banned from Instagram, is in full effect. He has not returned to the social media platform despite what some believed after Kris and Kourtney promoted an account bearing his name. Peeps on IG went into a frenzy Tuesday when his mom and sister told to follow at Rob Kardashian Official. But we've learned Rob isn't allowed to be the person behind the account. Honchos at Instagram tell TMZ Rob Kardashian Official is an official fan account being ran by Jenner Communications. But there are certain rules and guidelines in place to ensure Rob can't return to that account.
Why was he banned in the first place? What am I missing?
Well, here's the thing. Rob got booted from IG in 2017 after posting nudes of his ex, Blac Chyna. How come I didn't see these things? I didn't see these pictures of Blac Chyna. I'm not really
that chill.
No
chill.
I just want to see her naked. But
Isn't she always naked though?
Pretty much.
I mean, she's always naked.
I just want to see the nips.
Oh.
I haven't seen the nips.
I'm sure there's some photo out there
somewhere out there, but it's forcing him to take his social media game to Twitter and Snapchat. Because of that posting nudes, he was banned and booted off of IG indefinitely. The fan's account first post was on July 5th, 2018, but it sat dormant until it's past May, and now it's getting more and more active because, of course, Kris Jenner and the Kourtney Kardashian went to say to go follow this. This is where I guess Rob Kardashian is trying to IG from.
Do you watch that show?
I don't.
Me either. I'm probably the only woman that I know that does not watch the Kardashians. My sister does. And whenever I visit my parents and my sister's there, I'll catch an episode or two because she watches it religiously. But I just don't.
Yeah, I don't watch it.
I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's not my thing. I don't know. I have Kim Kardashian tattooed on my side, but I have her tattooed on me before she.
Are you serious?
I do. I really do. Check the look. I'm gonna show it to you.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh my God! You really do.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. That's Kim Kardashian. That was her before she had any plastic surgery. I mean, she was there the whole time I was getting it done too.
Really?
Yes, I actually had a great relationship with Kim Kardashian. Her and I were really cool. I mean, she came all the way to come see me get this tattoo. It was like 6-8 hour tattoo. Shout out to my tattoo artist Bayaso that did that.
Wow.
So yeah, Kim Kardashian actually was at one time, I could say, really cool with me. But she got famous, and there's nothing I can do for her. Wow.
Ain't that shame?
Check this out, guys. Federal marijuana legalization is just around the corner, as if it's not legal here already, but it's not all the way legal, okay? And the trail legal weed will be blazed by President Trump, says former U.S. Representative Dana. I want to make sure I say this guy's name. Rora Backer? Anyways. You gotta be high to read this guy's name. The longtime Republican congressman from SoCal was on TMZ Live yesterday to talk cannabis. He is now invested in the weed industry. Says his former co-hosts of Capitol Hill and are already working on legislation to allow all Americans to toke legally. All Americans. And we're talking about not legal here in California, legal all across the country by 2022.
Nationwide.
It's a big deal.
I'm not mad at it. I don't understand. I think weed is far better for you than all that pharmaceutical crap they're pumping into your system, and it's killing everybody early.
Do you smoke marijuana?
I don't.
You don't.
I don't.
Have you ever?
I've had gummies because I have insomnia, and it helps me to sleep throughout the night.
Yeah. You know what? I have horrible insomnia, and I've tried the edible thing, and what happens is I can't wake up. It gets hard. It's hard.
You're taking too much then.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, well then take less.
But they taste so good. I gotta get.
What do you mean? They're not meant to be popped like candy. They're freaking. You take one or half.
You're right.
It.
You're right.
If you want a snack, go get Skittles.
It's just that I'm a fat ass.
Oh.
And I gotta, I don't know.
He said I can't wake up.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Are you serious?
Yes, I'm dead serious.
Oh.
All right. I teased the news and I said, next time you're at a Chinese food place or anywhere that has fortune cookies, be careful when you throw away that fortune. Hold on to it because you want to be like this man named Charles W. Jackson Jr. from North Carolina. A man wins a $344 million Powerball with his fortune cookie numbers.
Was he the only one? The only one to win?
Yes, he is the only winner of the $344 million jackpot.
See, now I'm mad.
I'm mad too.
I'm
mad too.
Because I'd be eating at Chinese places and be throwing that shit away all the damn time.
And I always look at these numbers and because I like to play the lotto.
Yeah.
I don't play like a crazy horse. I just play here and there for fun.
Yeah.
I'll get some scratchers and hopefully I win the lotto. It's 1 in like 20 billion that you're ever gonna win. But I try it. I've done numbers. I have these superstitious numbers I write down. But now, because of Charles W. Jackson Jr. from North Carolina, I'm gonna try this next time. Charles said, "Dang, I got them all." That's what he said. "Dang, I got them all." Because I'm thinking from North Carolina. If you see a picture of Charles, he's holding his check. He got this big old happy smile. Gotta Google Charles W. Jackson Jr. from North Carolina. He said, "Dang, I got them all. I'm going to pay it forward and donate to St. Jude Hospital, the Wounded Warriors Project, and the Shriners. I always said that if I were ever going to win the lottery, I'd make sure I'm going to pay that due and keep that promise." So congratulations.
God bless him.
To the one and only.
Let's just hope he don't end up one of them cursed.
Yes.
Because do you ever watch that show?
Yes.
There's that show that talks about the curse, like everybody who wins the lottery is actually cursed. I'm serious.
Well,
I watch those shows all the time. Like I have them like DVR'd. Is that what they call them nowadays? DVR, record them. I swear to God, I couldn't believe the amount of people who have gone broke, lost family, friends, died, did all types of crazy.
I've seen that story. It's like a gang of lotto winners, and it's called The Curse of the Lottery.
It's like 95% of them.
Yes.
How is that possible? I remember there was this one girl who won like $100 and something million and bitch filed bankruptcy last year.
How is that?
She literally funded. Well, first of all, she got a private jet. She was funding something over at I don't know. Is it Getty Playhouse or I'm saying this wrong.
I don't know.
Anyways, she donated like $1 million just to have her name on the damn building.
Right.
I'm like, bitch, please.
What
are you doing? What are you doing? Your children need to go to college. What the hell are you doing? She bought like 3 Rolls Royces, Bentleys. She found herself not sugar daddy. He found himself a sugar mama.
And she just blew all her money on this guy.
You know what I'm saying? She bought him, or was gonna buy him, a private jet. What?
Yeah.
And she broke. I'm curious if they actually went through with the wedding after she went broke.
Right. There's so many lotto winners that
This is where you cue the crickets?
Yeah, downhill. Right? There's so many freaking lotto winners that have gone downhill that have just blew that all that money, and it's crazy. If you were to win the lottery, Michelle Joy Phelps, let's say you win, like this man right here, like Charles W. Jackson Jr., $344 million. What's the first thing you do? I mean, I get it. You're gonna buy a house. You're gonna take care of your family. You know what I'm saying? But what would Michelle want for herself? I'm gonna go do. I can fucking splurge and get whatever the hell I want.
Well, I always want to work.
You'll stay working?
I'll always stay. I can't. My mind will not rest.
Wow.
I've done the vacation thing where you're just chilling for a minute. After 2 weeks, I'm getting the itch. So I would have to put myself back in a creative space.
Nice.
So I would want to do something that continues to allow me to do what I'm doing now, which is being boxing. but just on a whole new level.
Ooh, I freaking love that answer. Gosh, you're sexy, Michelle. My goodness. You know what? Where are all the women like you? I keep dating women that work at freaking JCPenney's. I'm like, dude, okay, so what do you do, girl? You know, I work right there at the mall. And I'm like, oh, you work at the mall. That's not bad. And she's like, yeah, but you know, like the phone, you know, the where they fix the phone screens and stuff, the cracked phones. I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, God. The cracked screen phone.
I mean, look, at least she ain't sitting at home doing nothing.
No, I know.
I mean, there's some girls who don't want to work at all. Like,
You're
they feel
right.
like it's a complete pain in the ass to even get up and
I want a career-driven woman, man. I just want someone that got their mind on the same level that I'm, you know what I mean? It's not for money or anything like that. It's more interesting and fascinating for me. I don't know. You know, I've been going out with girls that just, what's wrong with me? Jesus.
No, you know what, though? It happens to all of us.
So,
I mean, but look, at the end of the day, that's what I would do. I would do that. Obviously, take care of my family. My parents have never owned a home. They've always rented. So I would love to be able to buy my parents a home, retire them. And I don't know. It's easy to say that, right? It's easy to say I would do this or do that. But I would honestly want to invest. I'd want to do something that, like with real estate, you can't go wrong with real estate. Flip homes, do stuff like that. Like I said, be creative, have fun with it, but at the same time, keep myself mentally busy.
Nice. That's great. You know what?
And then eventually hire nannies, because at some point I'm gonna have to have a damn child. And then I'm like, I still gotta go to work.
Yeah.
Afford a nanny.
I'd probably disappear for a couple weeks and not let no one in my family get a hold of me.
Would you want? Do you have to have your name revealed when you win the Powerball? Are you able to remain anonymous?
Yeah, you do.
You have to. Which one's the one that you can remain anonymous? Is that the Cal State?
I think it's our lotto.
Yes, the California
lottery.
Lottery. Okay.
Yeah. But that Powerball.
Would you want your information out there like that?
Yeah, I would. I just want everybody out there to know I'm freaking rich, bitch.
Oh, shoot.
I'm rich, bitch, and you can't find me now. Like, yeah, I wouldn't want anybody to know it. I'm cool with that.
But you'd realize that you would have, like, mail every single day coming in begging for money. Because, I'm only going off of what those episodes were with people who have won the lottery. There's, like, constantly stories about, they're threatening me or saying I'm, greedy or we're going to kill you. And I'm like, Jesus, like, I don't know if I want all that.
Yeah, it gets nuts, but I think I'd be able to handle it. I think I'd be able to handle it.
I think I'd be able to, sacrifice that much. Hell, like $344 million, I ain't mad at that. God bless him.
Congratulations, Charles. Well, that was your big news. I'm Tattoo. This is Tattandthecrew. Founder of Behind the Gloves, and if you love boxing, if you don't love boxing, I'm going to tell you right now, this is, even if you don't love boxing, it's still very interesting stuff coming from Michelle Joy Phelps. Michelle, what's going down?
Man, well, as you guys know, this past weekend, Andy Ruiz did what no one thought he was going to do. Let's keep it real, guys. Let's keep it real. He became the first Mexican-American heavyweight world champion. That deserves an applause all in itself. He made history. He will go down in the...
Definitely.
His name will be in the books, going down in history. Now,
were you there for that fight, Michelle?
I was there for that fight.
And you actually witnessed it live.
Yes. Let me tell you something. I try to remain from being biased, so I normally, even if somebody's getting knocked out, I'm usually sitting there trying to be poker-faced about it. I was out of my seat, yelling, screaming, freaking shaking. My adrenaline was going. I was so excited.
What was the atmosphere like in that Madison Square Garden?
Absolute shock. Anthony Joshua got dropped 4 times.
Yeah. 4
times. Now, we've seen him go down before, obviously, but this was something different. This was a whole different ballgame. Now, I don't want to dismiss or discredit Andy Ruiz because he did his thing. And let me tell you something. He did what everyone doubted he can do.
Me, myself, I went on air that Friday, the day before the fight, and I gave my fight prediction. I was not saying nothing negative about Andy Ruiz. I give him a lot of respect. I give him a lot of props. I'm a Mexican-American man. I'm very proud to be right now, even more so after this victory. But I was one of those doubters. I mean, you just know from statistics, from height, from weight, from size, from length. I just went with the stats, and I said, Anthony Joshua, this is an easy fight for him. He's gonna go in there and just knock this dude out, and he's getting ready for this big Wilder freaking fight. And I was the first person to come back on air and actually say, hey, I'm sorry to Andy Ruiz, man. I really apologize.
No, you know what? You don't gotta apologize. That's the beautiful thing about it. It is okay to be an underdog. It is. We've started as underdogs. No one thought we'd be sitting here. You gotta prove yourself.
You're right.
And when you prove yourself, then you get believers, and then you get fans. That's the way this thing works. Anthony Joshua at one point was the underdog. He came up, proved himself, and made himself a global superstar. Now that's okay. Now I know post-fight Andy Ruiz was like, none of you guys believed in me. None of you. That's okay, Andy. Nobody has to.
Right.
We do now.
I like that.
That's all that matters.
I like that.
You have to prove yourself. It's life.
I love.
You stepped up. And you proved yourself. And everybody loves a good underdog story. Who doesn't?
Right. Everyone.
He had a true Rocky moment. Congratulations. It was a huge win. The guy went from having 50,000 Instagram followers right before the fight to having 750,000. Okay?
The day after.
The day after.
Wow. Overnight sensation.
Overnight.
But I mean, he did put in
But
the work.
do you think that people would care as much if they went into it knowing that they thought it was more competitive? No, you actually got more success because no one thought you were going to do it.
You're right.
So you can't be mad at that.
Right, you got Sylvester Stallone.
You're on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Was it Jimmy Kimmel?
Yes.
Jimmy Kimmel the other night. Come on now. I'm okay with feeling like everybody wasn't rolling with me at first and now everybody is. I'm okay with that. You can't be mad at that. At the end of the day, you know, like I said in all of my interviews, I was like, yo, we can't overlook Andy Ruiz. He's a tough opponent. And I said that again and again and again. Every single interview that I did. He is a tough opponent. The only reason why people were not giving him any time of day was solely based off of his physique.
Yes.
That's it. You literally have this, Greek god-looking body on Anthony Joshua, and then you see, Andy Ruiz step up next to him.
It looks like me.
People just thought that, there's no way. But it just goes to show, it has nothing to do with how you look. It has to do with your skill.
Right.
And ultimately, your determination. Because when you are such an underdog like Andy Ruiz, you have everything to gain.
Do you think he can do it again?
Gain.
Do you think he can do it again? Because I heard, you're our big boxing update, that there is a rematch clause. That it's possible that's the next fight for Andy Ruiz.
It is the next fight. We're looking at November or December. Now, in the rematch clause states that it is in favor of Anthony Joshua, as any contract would state from the former world champion. So we're looking at likely Cardiff, Wales, but Andy Ruiz is trying to get it.
Cardiff, Wales is where...
Wales is part of the United Kingdom.
Right, so Joshua wants to take it back.
Correct, he wants to take it home. Now, Andy Ruiz is concerned about that because he's thinking, everybody's going to be in favor of you. This is going to be in favor of you. So he's trying to put it on more, neutral ground, which would be either America or he's trying to shoot for Mexico. Now, we know damn well Hearn ain't going to let that be in Mexico.
Right. What about Vegas?
See, that's the thing. I would love to see it again in Vegas, but I hear that they're also, possibly considering New York again. We'll see. But I would love to see it in Vegas. I feel like if we're going to keep it in the States, let's bring it back to the West Coast. Let's everybody here have a shot at seeing the fight happen.
If it was the state, because, Joshua has a huge advantage if it goes back to the UK.
Huge.
If it were to stay here, do you think Andy Ruiz can do it again?
Yes, because you know why? He's going in with confidence. See, before, if you listen to what he was saying, he kept saying, if I win. Now, he always believed in himself. You have to in order to sort of step up and take a fight like that. But there was always the possibility that he was going to look at it as in, you know what? It's a $7 million payday. My life has changed after this point. I could take care of my family. Like we were saying, even $1 million is life-changing for some, or most. So, he was in a good position, win or lose. You know what I'm saying? But one of the things I loved about Andy, and we were all talking about, is how happy he looked all media week. Like the guy was smiling. He he put a smile on his face.
Meaning before the fight.
Before the fight, yeah. So
and you're in New York, Madison Square Garden for Media Week, Michelle. You covered the whole entire week: arrivals, workouts, final press conference, weigh-in. You're there for the whole shebang.
The whole thing.
And did you ever encounter with Andy? Did you have any conversation, or with Anthony Joshua?
Yeah. So I interviewed AJ post-fight.
Nice.
And Andy Ruiz, I tried to get him at the press conference, but they had to go to the fighters meeting. So I remember yelling his name. He tried to stop. Unfortunately, they're like, no, you gotta go. So he had to go.
And you know what? You're still out there grinding. Andy!
Yeah.
Isn't that the hardest shit sometimes that people don't understand? Is getting the interview and screaming the name. I used to have to do these red carpets and be like, Robert, Ben, Beyonce, and all they do is walk right by you. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn it.
Yo, look, I'm not afraid. I'd be like, Andy! From across the room. And you couldn't miss me.
Yeah.
He looked at me, he's like, oh, it's Phelps. And so he looked like he stopped, like he wanted to do the interview, but his guys were like, yo, you gotta go to the fighters meeting, so you gotta keep going. So he just gave me this look like he couldn't do it. But I'm not afraid. I will chase your ass. I will be standing in front of your car before you come out, before you can drive off. Like, nice. I'm getting the damn interview.
As you should.
Unfortunately, because, DAZN had these guys literally spread so thin in terms of time.
Right.
A lot of us didn't get much time or any opportunity at that. So obviously we had to go with whoever was there. So there were other boxing stars there that I interviewed. But post-fight, I'm surprised, I'm not going to lie, Andy Ruiz didn't give any, or didn't stay for any interviews, which I was like, wait a minute, you just won, like, this is your moment, don't you want to do interviews?
Right.
But he wanted to get the hell out of there. But
and get that check. He wanted to get that check. Let me get this money.
But at first, Anthony Joshua, we were told he's not coming out. And I was like, damn. And then as most people had packed up and left already, I was still sitting there editing. And they came out and goes, AJ wants to come out. He wants to come out. So I applaud him for taking the time to still come out, give a post-fight press conference.
And what did he say? What did he say, Michelle? What was his post-fight words
He was very humble. Very humble. He never once made an excuse or discredited what Andy did. He said that all he can do is learn from this and come back from it. That's all he can do. And that he planned to exercise the rematch clause, which is exactly what he did. And that's exactly what
it is official. That is the next fight. Okay, yes, that's official. A great thing to know. Yeah. I'm down with that.
But I'm hearing today that Andy Ruiz is saying that I want 39 million pounds, which is like 50 million US dollars, to have it in the UK because it would be in favor of Joshua.
As he should.
But
good for him.
Yeah, but bit reaching there, Andy. Bit reaching there. It's a lot of money. And let me tell you, not even AJ's made that much money off one fight.
Michelle, is it possible though that he's asking for this kind of money because he has this feeling that he may lose the fight and this could be the end of, like, okay, he's never gonna get this moment again?
Look, you would have
Buster Douglas.
You would have a shitty team if they didn't try to start from there and then negotiate down.
Right.
Like, nobody wants to start at 20 and end up at 11. Do you know what I'm saying?
I love it.
He's reaching. Of course he's reaching.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, when you sign that contract that indicates that there is a rematch clause in favor of the former champion, which is obviously Joshua, you signed a contract. It's in his favor. So at the end of the day, they're going to call the shots. Yeah, you might have a say. I don't think that they're going, because he has to do the rematch. He doesn't get to say, I'm not going to do it because it's not in my favor. He has to.
It's mandatory.
Mandatory. You have to. And that was always down to Joshua. Did he want to exercise an immediate rematch?
Right.
And
or get a fight in between there.
Right. No, he said it's immediate.
And that's what a real rematch is to me. A real rematch is you fight and you fight them again right after. That's a real rematch.
Yes, correct.
Rocky Balboa, Apollo Creed.
Yeah,
come on.
You have to though. You have to. And at the end of the day, Josh was like, I'm not fighting for any interim titles. I'm not doing any of that. I'm going back for my titles.
Right.
Now, the thing is if Joshua loses again, I can see him retiring. And it's going to go back to this tack because this is what pisses me off. And I work for my damn self, you know what I'm saying? So I could say what I want on Twitter.
As you should.
And I did. And post-fight, I was like, I'm pissed. I'm pissed off. Fuck politics.
What were you so pissed off?
We lost the Wilder-Joshua fight. We lost it. It's not the same. How many times I have to sit sit here and keep saying again and again, if we don't get this next, someone's bound to lose. It's heavyweight division.
Right.
Anything can happen. This just proved that June 1st. Anything can happen. The heavyweight division was turned upside down in a good way because now there are more key players in there. Like now we have another key player. How do we not like that? At first it was just the top three. It was obviously Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, and Tyson Fury. Now we got Andy Ruiz, we got Luis Ortiz, Dylan White. We got all these other guys coming up. Shit's getting real.
But you know, as a correspondent, as a founder of Behind the Gloves, I could understand where your argument goes. As we lost a great fight as far as Wilder and Joshua goes. Perfect O's must go. Someone got to lose.
Yes, that was the whole.
But don't you think like that fight should have been that fight right there?
Yes.
The Andy Ruiz one.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Or even the Tyson Fury 2018, the way that they ended it in 2000, which I thought could have possibly even been a better fight than Joshua versus Wilder. I love the Fury Wilder situation more right now than I even was. I was done with it already. Thinking of Joshua and Wilder, I was like, dude, are these dudes ever gonna fight? Stop! I hate when you tease the public like that. Let's get it on already.
Total eye roll.
And I'm glad. I'm one of those guys, and I'm glad one of these dudes got knocked the fuck out because you know what? That's what you get for stirring the fans on. That's what you get for leading us on. That's what you get for trying to keep building us on with this Mayweather Pacquiao bullshit.
Yes.
Nah, man. That's what happens when these promoters think they fucking know everything and they don't.
And you know what? Here's the thing. Do I think that Joshua was trying to avoid Wilder? No. Do I think Wilder was trying to avoid Joshua? No. I think the teams are to blame. I think that they made things more difficult than need be. Now, when Anthony Joshua was looking to replace Big Baby Miller, obviously, as we know, was the replacement. Andy Ruiz was the replacement.
I'm still down to see that fight too.
No, I don't want to see that
No?
fight. No.
Why is that,
Because
Michelle?
he failed
drugs?
not one drug test, not two, but three.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
a lot.
we're talking about lives at stake here.
Yeah.
I'm not cool with that.
Okay, I respect that.
One failed drug test can be questionable, right? Because what if you took the wrong crap and you're like, shit,
Right.
I didn't realize I
And
had
you-
this.
and
It's
two and three, you're like,
it's like
oh.
you give people the benefit of the doubt. But
You want it, dog.
He's already failed another drug test prior to getting the Joshua fight.
Yeah.
And then you get this one, you failed three, bro. Come on.
You know what I like about it? And he probably was on. He's an angry guy. You know what I'm saying? Big Baby Miller.
Yeah.
You know, I just like the controversy that he was causing. You know, the pushing.
Yeah,
and
of course.
the talking shit. Like
We need that.
We do. And so I was into that. And Ruiz like, oh, you know, I'm gonna try and I'm gonna give it my best. And he's a very humble guy. And Joshua's a humble guy. I want to see some action.
Yeah, me too. And that's why, how could you not, even though people want to talk crap about Deontay Wilder or talk crap about Tyson Fury, at the end of the day, these guys are talking shit. And I like it. I love it.
Who was the best heavyweight in Michelle Joy Phelps' opinion? Who's the best heavyweight in the division?
I don't get to say that.
You don't?
No. I remain from being biased.
Ask me that question.
Okay, who's the best?
Deontay Wilder.
Okay.
Deontay fucking Wilder is the top dog to me. No.
Can I tell you something?
No one's beating Wilder.
So my channel interviewed Andy.
Bomb Squad! How to do it. I'm sorry.
So one of my guys, one of my correspondents for Behind the Gloves, interviewed Andy Ruiz before Andy Ruiz was even considered for the Joshua fight. And when he was asked by him, who would you say is the easiest and the toughest opponent in the heavyweight division? His words were, Anthony Joshua, for me, is the easiest fight.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
Wow.
Yes! He called it, and he goes, and Deontay Wilder is the most dangerous, but Tyson Fury is the hardest.
He's the skills.
He's the hardest.
See?
Yes, skills.
He has, as far as skills goes, Fury got it all.
Yeah. Now, if you look back at the fight, I think I saw, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I saw Joshua move his head once. Seriously.
Right.
Like, no head movement. Now, you can't do that when you're standing there and taking punches like that from Andy Ruiz.
You know what I was so tripping out when I was watching this fight? How fast Andy Ruiz is. He's like, da, 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 for his
Can you imagine him and Tyson Fury, though?
Oh.
See, now Tyson's like, oh, yo, I would destroy him. That's what he said.
Really?
So, yeah, Tyson's like, easy work
So
for
you
me.
spoke with Tyson Fury and he said those words exactly?
Well, he said it out here and put it out there.
Okay,
yeah.
got you. But have you ever had a conversation? Because you and Tyson are pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Well, Tyson, when I did ask Tyson for his thoughts, he said, I don't really have anything negative to say. And I was like, well, it doesn't have to be negative. I just want to know what I'm thinking. He did.
Showed him a lot of
And you know what?
respect.
Joshua post-fight, it's funny because he said to me like, Tyson, he says whatever. He's like, I can't believe shit he says, basically. Right. And that interview did quite well. I think my interview hit 800,000 views pretty much overnight. Damn. It was insane. Insane. But look, at the end of the day, the heavyweight division is gonna go crazy because we got Deontay Wilder the week of the Joshua-Ruiz fight, media week. He announced not one but 2 fights. Deontay Wilder announced 2 fights. Right. So he's getting the Luis Ortiz rematch.
That's his next fight?
Yes, more than likely September 28th here at the Staples. And then
you feeling that one? Are you cool with Luis Ortiz and Wilder too?
Listen, Wilder Fury, I'm down for it because that one got announced for early 2020.
I want to see official. That. I'm cool with that. Yeah.
Now, Luis Ortiz, I don't think necessarily that he needed to avenge any sort of controversy. I don't think there was any controversy. You knocked them out. Like, you stopped them. So I don't get it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I think ultimately what was happening was before AJ could even speak on a potential Wilder fight or Fury fight, because AJ was like, well, if Wilder ain't going to fight me, I'm going to go for Fury. Well, I feel like they sort of cop-blocked him.
Wow.
And they were like, yo, we're not gonna let you get any of us. And so look what happened. They locked them in until early 2020. So what would that be? Next year, next summer? Yeah. But look, if Joshua's fight is gonna be, the Joshua-Ruiz fight is gonna end up being in November or December, and then you got Fury and Wilder too, early 2020, it still lines up for a freaking huge unification. I mean, depending on what happens, you got to think about what happens. No matter who wins the rematch for Joshua-Ruiz, right? It's a huge unification fight that could potentially happen for summer of 2020. So it's not looking bad.
It would suck to see Joshua beat Ruiz in a rematch, and the only reason why I'm saying that is because there's been so many haters, so much negative crap being said. Like Stephen A. Smith, who's, to me, I got a lot of juice and respect for Stephen A. Smith. I like this. He's one of my favorite sports analysts, sports reporters in the game, hands down. Him and Max Kellerman do one of my favorite shows in the morning, First Take. It's one of my favorite sports shows ever on ESPN. And he wrote this negative-ass tweet about Andy Ruiz. It was so disrespectful that I was like, yo, man, I hate for Andy Ruiz to lose a rematch for shit like this, where Stephen A. I told you I was right. I told you he's just a fat bum, and you know what I'm saying? I don't want to see that. I want to see Andy. I want to see. To me, I was never a big fan of Anthony Joshua anyway. I'm not a big fan of I knew.
What was it about him that
is that he doesn't have skills. I knew he was bound to fall. I knew he's bound to fall. He's just a big, Greek, buff dude. I just didn't think he was going to fall against Andy Ruiz. I was thinking against Wilder, done.
Tad, if he had fought Wilder that night instead of Ruiz, let's just put it. Look, at the end of the day, he didn't have a good performance, did he?
No.
Wilder would have absolutely
destroyed him. Yeah.
It would have been. I bet you now they're all like, well, thankfully it didn't end up that way. Yeah. But if he had gone in the way he gone in against Ruiz, it would have been game over. Absolutely destroyed.
And now at the end of the day, yo, man, congratulations to Andy Ruiz. He's on freaking on Jimmy Kimmel. He's his whole life is about his whole life is. I seen this one video where people are chasing his vehicle and they're trying to get autographs with him, and you know what I'm saying. The only thing is, don't let it get to your head, dog. Don't let it get over your head. Enjoy the excitement, enjoy the fame, enjoy the love, and show that love back, man. Don't let it start going above your head. And it happens in boxing.
Well, let's put it this way. So Andy Ruiz had DM'd me 2 days before the negotiations were set to start with Hearn, and he DM'd me and goes, "Hey, would you mind tweeting about this or putting this on social media to help promote it?" Now, if anybody knows and follows me, they know I got a heavyweight audience. Everybody, when it comes to the heavyweights, my numbers are stupid. Nice. So I was like, yeah, of course, no problem. What's going on? So he's like, I'm set to negotiate with Eddie Hearn starting Monday, but could you get some buzz around, me and Joshua? Now, when I posted that, everybody was ripping, like, what kind of bullshit is this? Like, that's not, nobody wants to see that. Who the hell is this guy? Look at the way he looks. Like, of course it went to that, right?
Right.
But we posted it, we put it out there, we did Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And of course, you know, I'm not going to look too much into it, but when I did go to DM him to congratulate him, it got read and not replied to. So I was like, oh, come on, Ruiz, don't be doing me like that. Don't be doing me like that.
Do a post interview.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, don't forget, I was there to help promote it too, you know? And if other people were, until I had tweeted it wasn't really being talked about. So it was like, you know, I'm gonna hope that's just a little oversight.
Yeah, well, look, I mean,
he is busy getting, you know, close to 1 million followers.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna take it personal, Andy.
Well, you know, it'd be good to bring that up to him in your next interview. Come on, Andy.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I used to work with Golden Boy for, you know, quite a few years, 9 years to be exact. I worked with Golden Boy, and I remember one of my first, well, it wasn't one of my first interviews. One of his first interviews was Canelo, and this is the point I'm trying to make. Is like, I remember when Canelo was just standing there, and he was the undercard to, I think it was Sergio Mora and Sugar Shane Mosley. I think he was fighting Baldemir or something like that. And he's standing there, and nobody was interviewing him at all, because a lot of the reporters didn't speak Spanish. I remember Monica Sears came up to me, like, practically begging me to interview Canelo. Oh my God, you gotta get this guy, please, Tat, just do something with him. You know what I mean? He's just standing there, no one's interviewing him. I'm like, yeah, I'll go interview him. Hell yeah, I will. So I interview Canelo, you know, whatever, I'm showing him love, and when we're done with the interview, I tell him, hey, Canelo, because I was already knowing who Canelo Alvarez was. I was putting a gang of people up on Canelo way before he was even who he is. Telling everyone that's the dude to look out for, man. It's this redhead Mexican guy, he has freckles. And I remember when I was even telling Big Boy about Canelo. And I interviewed Canelo, and I told him, of course, in Spanish, I told him, hey, Canelo, don't forget these times right here when no one was interviewing you. Tattoo, all right, Canelo, Tattoo's the man, okay? Tattoo, see, Tattoo, always cool with me. Then, you know, he starts his day, and then, you know, okay, we are still cool. You know, I mean, I'm on planes with Canelo, we're doing things with Mayweather, and then he starts getting bigger, and then we're like, all right, then it starts Tattoo who, starts getting pushed aside a little bit. He's always kept it cool. He kept it very cool with me, but it got to a point where I'm just like, look, I can't even get like fucking, hey, this is Canelo Alvarez. One thing with him, it just became no. You gotta go through Ramiro. You gotta go through his trainer. You gotta go through Raul. You gotta go through Monica. You gotta go through this, and it was just like, yo. This is the guy that you know what I mean? Like you did his first interview with this dude.
Shit changes, Tat.
It does.
You know what? You know, the thing is that there have been, and this goes across the board. I'm not gonna call anybody out, but let's put it this way. You know, sometimes people want to come at me and say, "Why don't you interview so and so anymore? Why aren't you ever interviewing this person?" As if I have all access to everybody, right? Now, I may have interviewed these people many of times before, but the bigger they become, the harder the access gets. And at the end of the day, you know, this is what I always like to say to promoters, publicists, and managers and so forth. If you want me to interview your guys on my platform when they are just up and coming, then you need to make sure you give me access with your stars. If you scratch my back, I'm going to scratch yours.
Man.
Now, if you said I'm going to give you an interview with so-and-so, but just take care of me by just interview my other guys who nobody is interviewing right now.
Right.
I'm okay with that. Look, I got video footage of AJ when he was like 5-0. Do you know what I'm saying? And he was like, you know, this is Anthony Joshua, the next heavyweight, or up-and-coming heavyweight prospect. You know, they're watching behind the gloves. Like, that's the shit I got on
that's
these guys.
That's classic shit. You should have that up on your site.
I have. Right. I have. I mean, it's still on a lot of the videos that I have. But that's the thing, you know. But there are some that will always make time for you, and they keep it 100, and they don't let their teams run and dictate everything. And then there's other people that, you know, they sort of become these machines, and it's harder and harder. But you know, look, all you can hope for is, and my best advice is always to people, look, the pendulum always swings. So at some given point, a fighter will lose. At some given point, the fighter doesn't have the same credibility. And then what? Now you need the interview?
Right.
So just always keep it real. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always going to make time. I always interview prospects. I'm always interviewing guys 1-0, 2-0. You know what I'm saying? 5-0. And trying to get them to talk about something that's going to catch fire online. So, and that's all you can do. So all you can do is try. And I do try. But, you know, people want to come at me like, you haven't interviewed so-and-so, they must not like you anymore. And it's like, It's actually not like that. It's completely the opposite. Usually, they're the ones cool, but then you got their teams screaming at you that you can't interview them because they don't got time.
Who's been your like the worst interview? Someone that you've had an interview with and you're like, no, this dude, you're a freaking jerk. Has anybody ever jerked you, or you've had an interview that didn't go well and you're like, I didn't, you know? Or
I've had interviews not go well when a publicist pushes him in front of me and he's some like Eastern European fighter, I can't pronounce his name.
Oh yeah.
Or I've not heard of him before because he's still a prospect.
And they're still offended.
No, but it's just like, I'm like, could you give me a minute? Can I do a little bit of research on the guy before you just throw him in front of the camera?
Oh my God.
So I've had some awkward moments like that. Look, it's impossible for you to have, you know, a fact sheet on everybody, you know, stored away in your brain. It's just impossible. You got to do your research for some of these guys that you haven't heard much of. That's not to say they're not great fighters. They're just, or good fighters, but it's just, you know, it's impossible to know everything.
You know who you should interview?
Who?
Who you haven't interviewed yet?
Who?
And it'd be a big story. It'd be a fucking huge story on your, and it's not about the person that you're interviewing, it's about the story that they have to tell. And it's so exclusive and it's so raw. You should interview me.
Oh.
You should interview me on my 9 years at Golden Boy and the crazy shit I've seen with Oscar De La Hoya. And hey, it's all facts. It's my life. It's my story. Someone's gonna get that interview. If not, I'm just gonna interview myself.
You should just write a book. I mean, a memoir is. I tell everybody this. Like, if you're not already documenting your life, you need to start documenting now.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of people go wrong.
Yeah. But
and I'm going wrong right now on that too, because I don't have a squad, a team to be filming my every move. But and you know what? I travel so much that if I sat here and wrote a journal of all the juicy bits, right? I'd be terrified that shit's going to I'm going to lose it and be like, damn, and then there it goes.
Well, it goes, you know, at the end of the day, like we were supposed to have JoJo on last week, Jojo Diaz Jr. And here's the thing, like he was hitting me up to be on the show, and I must have told him at least 3-5 times. I told him, Joe, it's cool, man. It's conflict of interest, not for me.
Oh, was he not allowed to be on?
He was not allowed to come on, and so we went 3-5 times where I told him, dog, be careful doing this interview.
Yeah.
Make sure that it's all good. Because
you know, even though you might have your, you know, issues in history with Golden Boy, I mean, I don't see where the conflict is. Like, I don't have any issues with nobody, and it's like I'm still here doing the show. It is what it is, right? Like, you can't. It's like just because you have beef with one person doesn't mean everybody's got to be siding with.
Well, that's the way. That's what I said on air was this. It's not like I was gonna have JoJo. Well, JoJo hit me up like at 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, all the way to the artwork. Before we posted the artwork, I told him, Joe, this is conflict. Are you sure you want to do the show? Tad, I want to do it. I don't care. No, I can't wait to be on. It's Joe. It's JoJo. You know JoJo. He has a great personality, good heart, good kid. 2012 U.S. Olympian. We were gonna talk about his next. At the end of the day, I wasn't gonna have JoJo on to talk shit about Golden Boy and disrespect his promotion company. If anything, I was gonna give them props and respect for allowing and being smart about it and letting their fighter on, because that's promotion for their fighter. And if anything, I said JoJo probably needs a new manager. If he can't talk to the own promotion team and say, hey dog, this is my fighter. You guys can't block him from doing interviews. We're promoting us. We're taking, you know, he's going to get an interview. Hundreds of thousands of people are going to tune in. Hey, you know what? At the end of the day, JoJo hit me up. I was asleep. I wake up. I see the message. I was like, oh, shit. You know, he can't do the show. I tap. I'm sorry I can't make it. I didn't. You're right. I didn't know it was this bad. That's what he said. I didn't know it was this bad, which meaning, you know, Oscar, someone at Golden Boy, no, you can't do it, right? So I came on and I just said, hey, you know what? I wasn't gonna have Joe on. I still give him a lot of love, a lot of respect to him for wanting to do the show and wanting to, you know, actually do the interview. And my thing was, yo, how is your promotion company not, y'all that bitter and that upset with me that you're not gonna let your fighter do an interview? That's not for you. That's not for me. It's for him. And at the end of the day, honestly, like I got the hit I wanted. I came on air and was like, hey, Joe can't do the interview because of Golden Boy. I don't know. They didn't allow him to do the interview.
Look, I'm always, devil's advocate in situations, and no matter what happens, at the end of the day, my job is to be across the board, and that's exactly what I'll do until I'm told otherwise. And if that's the case, then that's not on me anymore. So
hey, I I challenged Oscar De La Hoya. Hey, come on my show. Let's talk it out live on air.
I'm hoping that everything resolves itself, because that's a lot of history and friendships.
It is.
And sometimes it's sort of like an ugly breakup with like boyfriend or girlfriend, right? Like you had so much love.
He's the girlfriend. I'm definitely not the girlfriend.
But like in any relationship step, like you're with somebody for so long, you can't sit here and say that overnight you just hate somebody.
I don't hate Oscar.
Right, but if there's any bad blood there, that's usually because there's a bit of hurt behind it. So hopefully, Lord willing, everything eventually resolves.
And I love that. I love your point of view on that. And I'm gonna take it with that right there. Yeah. Honestly, because I honestly mean this with all my heart. I had some of the best years at Golden Boy.
Yeah.
It is one of the greatest boxing promotion companies in the world. Mm-hmm. I've never said nothing negative about Golden Boy, that they're this. I've never said nothing negative about them. It's a personal thing where I left the company and shit went from there. Mm-hmm. All right? And I've done all my apologizing, I've done all my ass kissing, I've done all my DMs, all my text messages, everything I can to Oscar. And I don't get not one response after 10 years.
That's okay, Tat. That's okay. Sometimes people's process is just different than others. You just gotta let people do what they do. All you both can do is try to lead with your best foot forward. That's it. You can walk away saying, you know what, I did what I could, and that's it. And no grudges hold. I'm just going to move on with my life. They're moving on with theirs. And hopefully in the future, you see it happen all the time, that people eventually, talk again. And all you can do is leave it alone. That's it.
Done.
Yeah.
Done. And I'm going to take it right there from my girl, Michelle Joy Phelps. Michelle, thank you for your big boxing update. Thank you for this incredible information on
you see how passionate I get about it?
I love it.
I'm getting all types of heated when I'm talking about it.
In the next hour, I want to do some more boxing talk, because I'm a big fan of this Keith Thurman Manny Pacquiao fight that's going down, and I at least want to get your views and some upcoming fights that are going down as well. Okay. It's 33 minutes after the hour. This is Tattandthecrew. I'm going to get into a couple records, and we're going to come back with more radio show for you. Yeah, you know what? Living in the UK, do you like also build that UK accent? Is it like natural that it's gonna kind of like form on you?
Only when I come back here do people tell me that. They're like, oh my God.
Because I can kind of hear it a little bit.
Everyone says that. But you know what's so funny is like I have 5 employees, right? 3 are British. Most of my best friends are British. Pretty much every guy I've dated is British. Like everyone's
really?
British.
So you are? Does the accent get? Is it sexy?
I almost don't recognize it anymore. Now, if you came at me with some other accent, then I'd be like, oh, I can recognize it.
Like these? Like when I talk like, hey, go with that, chill.
I don't recognize the British accent anymore because I just understand it. But my mom called me one time, and my roommate, she goes, she's from Liverpool. Now, if you know anything about British accent, Liverpool is a heavy motherfucking accent.
Right.
Like, it's like, blah, 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 blah. I remember one time I went
Can
to
you
the
do
McDonald's.
The accent good?
No,
you can't.
I'm terrible, which is funny because people are like, well, you kind of sound it. I'm like, nah. But when I try, I sound absolutely ridiculous.
Because there's some celebrities that go over and stay a lot in the UK.
Yeah.
Madonna, Johnny Depp, and they start building the natural accent.
Yeah.
Grows on.
But I feel like some people just be doing the most with it.
Well,
mind you.
Lindsay Lohan one time. Remember,
Jesus.
she was like, oh my God, remember she tried so hard to do this British accent. And,
she needs to stop
all of a
right
sudden
now.
she was British. But it seems like yours, you speak English very well. You've got very well proper grammar. I was telling you that earlier. But I can hear, I mean, maybe it's just staying in the UK a lot that naturally comes.
Well, not just that, but it's just a lot of the people I speak to on a daily basis. It's British.
Right.
So, of course, naturally, when you're constantly hearing it, I think I'm picking up on certain like mannerisms, like the way they say, you know, like I can ask a question like, you know, so how are you doing, right? I feel like I sound, you know, American. But sometimes there's a way of saying it where they'll be like, if you notice, Americans, we speak, like, we go up, they go down. How are you?
Right, how are you?
How are you? And then you're like, how are you?
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like, there's like little things like that. So sometimes I
Hey,
feel
what's
like,
up, fool? Hey, what's up, fool?
Could you imagine? Literally.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, cabron, get over here. Hey, cabron, get over here.
Shut up. That's how it is. So sometimes you realize you're like, you know, do you want me to grab something? Like sometimes you're like, oh shit. I mean, do you want me to grab something from the grocery store?
Hey, I'm attracted to the accent of ladies.
Well, in the UK, they're very, very much attracted to the American accent. So
really?
let's just say, I remember one time I was at this like,
so I could probably pull a UK
right?
chick
You know
off
what I'm
there.
saying? Exactly.
Yeah,
so
nice.
I was at this UK event. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was just like eye candy everywhere, right?
For you,
But,
you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, they were,
guys.
even girls, they were just, it was just a stupid party where they were clearly only allowed in based on how they look. It was insane. So yeah, one of those.
Precious was it?
But basically, I went to the bar and I went to go order a drink. And yes, I do order my own drinks, thank you.
Nice, good for you.
And this guy heard me. He turned around and goes, you know what, I thought to come up to you, but then I thought she's probably British. And he goes, and I heard your accent. And he's like, and I had to meet you.
Wow.
So it was literally like, it didn't matter what I looked like. He probably thought she's just a British girl. And he's done dating British.
Yeah.
But he was very interested in speaking to me after he heard my accent. So it's funny because I do like accents, but I can't say it's just necessarily like British. I've dated Russian.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay, you know, like heavy, like
Right. What about Armenian?
You know what I mean?
This
Like,
is good, but
not Armenian. I've never dated Armenian.
There's
But,
pretty good vodka with me.
here's a question for you, Tom. What's a sexy accent and what's a not sexy accent? Like, let's say a girl is rolling out and she's hella fly, right? This bitch is on point 10.
Right. A 10.
But if she opens her mouth and starts talking some types of crazy accent,
and she says, oh,
what is the biggest turnoff?
And it has nothing to do with your culture.
No,
It's just the accent.
just the accent, how it sounds.
The Armenian accent.
You don't like it?
I don't. It's not a turn on to me. No.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
You know, it's very hardcore. You know, it sounds like they're constantly yelling or angry.
Do you know what mine is?
What? Chinese.
Because I went to China and they were like screaming at each other. And I didn't know whether to be offended or to be like, you know, flattered.
Yeah.
I didn't like the tone.
Yeah.
I don't like being yelled at, period. And it was very aggressive, like, you know, it's too much.
I know a female that worked at the radio station with me, and she was on the phone, and it sounded like she was an Armenian. And I told her, yo, chill out. And who are you yelling at? It's too early. It's 6:30 in the morning. She's like, I'm just talking to my mom, Tat. Like, you know, I'm like, oh, damn. Talking to your mom, it sounds fucking aggressive. She's like, no, we're just having a polite conversation. Like, she was like, Marcelo! She was going off.
Tat, what kind of different ethnicities have you dated before?
I dated well out of my culture. I've dated white women. I've dated an Asian woman. The mother of my kids is Filipina.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a relationship with African American women. I've dated out my culture.
You're like me, it's United Nations. Like you just got.
But here's the thing. There's probably be a lot of Latinas that don't like what I'm going to say right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be like, "Come on, Tat, don't say that." But I'm chill on Latinas right now.
Why?
Well, because it's not. I'm just dating the wrong Latinas. I'm not gonna say I'm ever gonna stop dating. I love my raza. I love my girls. I love my people. But it's just too many Instagram models, and there's nothing in common with me right now.
Have you ever met a girl online and she was fly, right?
Right.
And then you saw her in person and you were like, what?
Well, yeah, I was saying that. Yeah, I was talking about this to Mia St. John yesterday. I had Mia St. John on the show yesterday. How it was Jalissa Lynn, the Playboy Playmate. When we had her on, I said there's a difference between a real model and Instagram models. And a lot of the girls I meet are Instagram models. And then you want to, I meet the girl in person, and you want to put the phone up to their face and start slacking. And then I had a girl tell me, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to find the filter that you use on your face so that you can look the way that you showed me. Because you don't look nothing.
People be losing relationships over the Photoshop.
Well, it's Photoshop on Photoshop. And the thing with Instagram is you can put a filter on a filter on a filter with a butterfly and a butterfly and another filter. And
everybody's looking good when they got a crown on.
Yeah, everyone looks like they got a little freaking doggy nose.
First of all, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do it with my niece.
Right.
You know, because she loves like the, she likes to, she's like 4. And she likes to, you know, woof woof, you know, she sees it and she thinks it's cute. Yeah. But I ain't posting that shit.
Right. And it's so freaking ridiculous. Yeah. But how about you, Michelle? You're dating right now.
Yeah.
He's a British guy.
Yes.
Is he British?
Yes, he's British.
And he's in the UK.
Yes.
Yeah. And how is he that
Crickets.
No, are you happy? Are you happily dating? Is this just one guy you're dating?
It's very new.
A few different guys.
It's very new. I don't. This is.
What do you look
these
for
are
in a
my
guy,
rules. These are my rules.
Because you're a hot chick, Michelle. You're a beautiful, beautiful lady.
Seriously, Tad, the compliments are. I don't. All I can say is thank you.
Well,
I'm just.
What? Stop.
I just get a little shy.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why I say that is because you're everything that I'm kind of looking for in a woman. I can't really have you. I swear. You got a good career. You buy your own drink. And I'm not saying that I'm a cheap guy and I can't buy drinks. I love to splurge and buy drinks, and it's just that, okay, I bought a drink, then I bought a wine again, I buy dinner, we go here, we go. It's just like, yo, I mean, can you buy me a michelada? Shit, fuck. You know, oh my God. I can't even get a freaking taco out of this relationship, you know? So, but yeah, I mean, you look, you're talented, you got your own shit going on, you got your career driven, you're a beautiful girl, you speak properly, you talk well, you love boxing. Come on! God!
Let me tell you something. I go on dates. Like, I don't mind going to dinner. But if we're holding hands and kissing at that point, I can't be going on other dates with other people until I figure this shit out.
Yeah.
But I'll go on dates and nothing popping.
Right.
Because this is the thing, I've learned to not have alcohol on the first date. Because you have a glass of wine, you start feeling like warm and sexy and shit, right?
Yeah.
And you really start to think a little bit differently, even just one glass.
Right.
And I want to know, like, can you keep my attention without alcohol? Because your attention can't be kept all the time without alcohol.
I need to get girls drunk.
I'm telling you.
The first place I ask a girl, that's where I'm fucking up, Michelle. Is the first place I ask.
Are you buying them drinks on the first drink?
Yes, well, that's what else do you do on a first date? Like, hey, let's go get some drinks, let's go get some dinner. And
you still have dinner.
You're right, but then I don't know. I think I may need the drink, and I need to loosen up a little bit. I still get nervous. I'm like, look, I will say, behind radio, this is like my all-time peak. This is where I feel the strongest in my life. Once this is all over, I become this regular guy. And it's like I'm Clark Kent now. I'm not Superman. Now I gotta, wear the glasses, and I'm a dork, and I'm not really good at conversation or women and going out. It sucks for me, you know? So I gotta have a little drink to, get my mojo. And I don't know, I sometimes think it's good to give a lady a drink so that she can feel better. I love what you're saying.
But you have to, and I've learned that the hard way.
This is the first for me hearing someone say this.
Yeah, you have to, and I have to look and do things differently for me to see some form of success at this point.
Right. Usually the females telling me, hey, we're gonna go get some drinks. Because my first date with me, they're asking me, are you gonna take me to go get drinks? That's like, it's kind of like, what, you need to have drinks to go out?
No, but I get it. It's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Especially when you really like the person, or you're really attracted to the person. You're like, oh, and I'm the same way. I might be confident when it comes to doing whatever else I do, like in terms of work and any other aspect of my life, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't have like mad game when it comes to like dating.
Right.
So I have to sort of tread lightly and watch my moves because, and as you know, I got a crazy ass laugh. So sometimes I gotta be taming that shit.
No, I love it. But what did this guy have that you're like, well, I'll date this guy?
Well, I mean, there is somebody, but there's not anyone serious in particular.
Right.
But if we're speaking about somebody that I'm, looking forward to seeing when I get back and going, seeing where it goes. I think one of the things I really liked was, and anyone could speak on this, he asked me, what do you want, Michelle?
Wow.
Are you looking for something serious? Now, I
want?
thought this was a damn trick question. I was like, damn, now I'm gonna have to play it off like I am, but I'm not, and I'm not trying to be too serious too quickly, and I'm like trying to, you know what I'm saying? Because you're worried that if you say, yeah, I'm looking to get married, you're thinking he's gonna turn around and run, run for the hills. Right. He's like, nah, this is a little too much too soon.
Yeah.
So my response was really coy, like, let's see what happens, let's see where this goes. And he goes, look, babe, I'm looking for love. I go, well, goddamn, like, what? Wow. Yeah, he was like, this is what I'm looking for, so maybe you might want to reconsider.
But don't you think it has a lot to do, someone saying that? Like, I'd say that to you. I mean, I'm serious. No, it's not. You don't think.
No,
you felt he really meant it. You felt the genuosity in his heart.
Right. Going off of what I was previously told about, because we met through mutual friends, something that I was told previous to that was that, he obviously was in the right place where this is what he's looking for.
Right.
He's looking for a relationship. So I think timing's everything. I think when you're able to kind of go through the motions,
If a guy were to tell you he doesn't like boxing, would you still date him?
Well, thankfully, every guy I have dated loves boxing.
Good.
But it comes with this downfall, Tat. I'd be coming home and all I want to do is just, how was your day? Let's talk about other shit. I don't always want to talk about work.
Right.
Babes, tell me about what this is going on. It's like, God damn it, I got to do it 24/7.
Right. So
sometimes, there's a plus to it, but then at other times it's like, can we just turn it off?
Yeah.
God bless my parents. Every time I come back and I visit them, they're like, so tell me about this, tell me about that. And I literally had to tell them, can we just not talk about it?
What's your nationality, Michelle Joy Phelps?
Can I ask you what you think that I am? Because I love hearing everybody's really weird, like everybody thinks I'm everything.
I think you're Italian and white. Italian white.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to Italy in 2 weeks for a wedding.
Am I close? Am I there? No, I'm not.
Well, you got the white part, but the white is very broad. You realize that, right? Like
German. I just say white, but because I'm not gonna say German. It's so much.
Yeah.
But I say you got white in you.
Yeah. So I am mostly Native American.
Okay.
And then I'm Spaniard, French, Canadian, and German.
Got you. There it is.
Do you want to hear a fun fact about me, Tat?
Yeah.
Not very many people know this.
Come on, give it to me.
It's an exclusive. So my last name is Phelps.
Right.
But
like Michael Phelps.
Yes, like
Spelled
Michael Phelps.
just like his.
Yes. And I get his tweets all the time. Michael, you probably get mine.
Michelle and Michael Phelps.
Yeah, I don't dude. Can you not type Michael correctly? I mean,
well, yesterday you were Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell. Shit. Well, my dad called me Mitch. He's always called me Mitch. I don't know why, but that's his nickname, so I guess it's not too far. It's not too weird.
Let's share this fun fact.
Okay, fun fact about me is my biological last name is Masters.
Wow. That's a pretty cool last name.
Masters.
Michelle Masters.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh.
So
that sounds like very powerful.
Yeah. My bloodline is Masters, which comes from New England, Maine. That's where my family's from. So the thing is, my grandfather, and this is going to get deep right now, y'all. My grandfather is a product of a rape. So he was born because my grandmother was raped. So she gave birth to him and put him up for adoption, where her cousin adopted him and brought him here to the West Coast.
Wow.
So technically, I'm related to the Phelpses, but that's not what my last name should have been.
Got you. Mm-hmm. Now that was deep.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, have you ever dated a boxer? Have you ever dated a fighter? You gotta say who, but have you ever dated a fighter?
I've never admitted this, but yes.
Is it someone we know?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out.
No, you know what? My friendships have always been pretty strong with people. I've never dated somebody who's not started off.
And let me ask, you've never said that because what? You think you're gonna get judged? You think people are gonna think that you really?
Initially,
and
yes.
Do you care?
I don't
about
give
that?
a shit anymore.
Good.
See, that's why I don't care saying that. I've put enough years into this to prove that I'm not here to be somebody's girlfriend or wife.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if anything, I want him to be like, damn, that's my wife, because she made a name for herself, and now she's just adding to what we both offer. So I have, but I don't think I'll ever do it again.
Michelle Joy Phelps, will you marry me? God damn it! What got you into boxing? When did you know that I love this sport?
Mm-hmm. I was young. I never really quite understood boxing when I was little. I mean, nobody ever taught me anything. I just remember being really gravitated towards the television when there were big pay-per-view events going on, and my cousins my age were outside playing in the backyard or in the rooms playing with their dolls and catching up with their cousins, and I was sort of sat in front of the TV, just, I don't know, just enthralled. I was
Do you
curious.
remember the first fight you ever watched and you were like, oh damn, or you can't think back that far? Or?
I just remember them. I mean, pretty much every Oscar fight you could possibly imagine.
They're not the
I
best.
mean, even I don't know. At what point do you remember? Like,
I do. I remember my first fight ever.
No, but not just fight, but just memories in general. I don't know if I just have really shitty memory, but it's very fuzzy. Anything before junior high, I was like, what the fuck did I do in the 3rd grade?
you were sniffing glue.
You know what I'm saying? Like, long-term effects, Kat. Long-term effects.
You were
Jesus,
sniffing
keep your
glue,
kids
man.
away.
That Elmer's was powerful back then, man.
I hardly have any memories of my childhood.
Wow.
And that is a fact.
Is it? Did you have a good childhood? Did you have a bad childhood?
No, I had a very traumatic childhood.
Since maybe you want to forget it.
I mean, yeah,
maybe you programmed your mind to forget it.
I'm very vocal about what's going on in my life. I was sexually abused growing up, so I blocked out a lot.
Damn.
A lot. And so it's weird because people would be like, well, tell me about this, tell me about that. And I'm like, I honestly can't tell you. Like, my sister will come out and show me photos of my childhood, and I don't even remember taking that trip with my own parents. I'm like, when did we go there? When did we do this? I don't have memory of a lot.
I think that could, with what you just said right now, being sexually abused at a young age, it could be mental, psychological. Like,
100%.
I just want to forget this shit. And
I'm actually lucky. I'm lucky. I don't want to remember everything. Right. I remember, but I don't remember a lot. And I feel like some people want to go to therapy and then they want to, rehash it all and or regressive therapy, should I say. They want to remember everything. And I'm like, why would you want to remember that? Like, it's a blessing for you to not remember, because people who remember are even more traumatized. And there's already things like, again, I'm a certain way. I'm very old school. I've never had a one-night stand in my life. So I'm a certain way when it comes to men because of what's happened to me. I have to trust you.
Damn, and you know what? Let me tell you something, Michelle. And I'm going to say this because I've known you for a long time now. And I've seen the haters. I've witnessed them. I've heard them.
Yeah.
Michelle, I've been in a room and I've heard your name. Knowing this now, I wish that all those haters were tuned in right now. And anyone that had any opinion about you, negative about, oh, she's just here to fuck a boxer, or she's here to try to, you know what I'm saying? Yo, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there. That, thank you for sharing that. Really, honestly. Even though if it's not one of those things you just said right now, hey, I'm very open about my life. That's some people are, some people are not. Most people are not.
Yeah, I had to grow to be this way. It didn't happen overnight. I mean, most people don't even know, like, over Christmas time, just this past year, was the first time that I actually saw a therapist. The first time ever, because I had an absolute and utter breakdown.
Wow.
So, he's in prison. I've had to deal with, I've actually am submitting a form to get myself approved to visit him in prison, because I want to address what's happened.
Yeah, Michelle, you want to visit this person
In
who
prison,
sexually
yes.
abused you in prison,
Yes.
and to gain what?
It's not closure. It's more so, I know that when you ask why, or when you're asking questions, you're not necessarily going to get what you think you're going to get out of it. But I have a feeling that perhaps it's totally beyond me. I don't know why I have this feeling. But I feel like he needs to see me in order to fully address himself.
Wow.
I have a feeling that he will
That's-
pass away after we speak. I don't know what it is. I just feel like, because he's old, I just feel like he himself will have to.
It's like a family
forgive.
member or something.
Yes, a
Yeah,
family
it is.
member.
Damn. That's
So,
deep.
it's-
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, I'm okay with talking about it now because I'm stronger for it. I have obviously lifelong issues that I will forever have to battle. But ultimately, you just learn to gain as much control over yourself as you possibly can and move forward. That's all you can do. And
no wonder, you know, at the end of the day, like, this is a different kind of fight, Michelle. This isn't a fight in the ring. This isn't a fight behind your computer. This isn't a fight on the street. This is a real mental fight. This is a way tougher fight than you're ever gonna have in your life.
Yeah.
Straight up. This is almost like the fight of your life, you know? If that makes any sense.
yeah, of course, you know, and again, it's not meant to be a heavy thing. I encourage other people to come forward and talk about it and not feel ashamed because we've done nothing wrong. So I remember when I did my first post about it, it was after the whole Michael Jackson controversy that was coming out, the documentary.
Were those two, the young,
two boys, yeah. And
what did you think of that? Do you believe those boys, or
I do.
mean, well, they're men now, but
I do, and the only reason is because it takes a victim to understand a victim.
right.
And I know why people don't want to talk about it. They'll deny it. I've had people that DM'd me, emailed me. I had an overwhelming amount of people come forward saying, even one of my best friends said, this person was abusing all these people. When my mom or anybody asked me if it was true, I denied it. And to this day, I've denied it because I didn't want to. There were different reasons, but they didn't want to deal with the backlash that came with it. Like even some of my own family members, for a moment there, it was creating a bit of a rift within the family because not everyone was abused, but there were several of us who were abused. And so the ones who weren't had a hard time believing that it was real. And then the ones that are obviously believed each other because we had similar stories. So I think it takes you having to understand the psychology of being through it and why people deny it and why people go until they're adults to talk about it. Oftentimes, my biggest revelation was when my brother and my sister started having kids. And when I would see, this started when I was 3 years old. So when I saw at such a young age, I couldn't help but think, oh my God, like I don't know, it was weird. I was like, I was that young and innocent and this happened to me.
Yeah.
And it just does something to you. So when the boys were saying it took them having children to understand it, right there, boom, it hit me. I'm like, I totally get it.
The guys with the Michael Jackson.
My mom and dad.
Like when they said they had kids.
And that's when it hit them that
Right.
how could someone do that at that age to somebody because they were so groomed. And again, this is just my opinion. I know people are very sensitive when it comes to the Michael Jackson topic.
For
we
sure.
cannot assume that just because somebody's famous that it can't happen. If anything, oftentimes, and we've seen this with like people like Harvey Weinstein and so forth, that oftentimes people with power do abuse it. And so it's not always, but again, we can't make victims feel ashamed for wanting to give their truth. You cannot do that because otherwise we will forever have this problem of people not wanting to talk about it. I know that it took me being 27 years old for me to finally tell my parents what happened to me.
Damn.
So think about that.
Yeah.
So it took a minute and it's still processing.
Well, shit, thank you for sharing that with us, with me. I appreciate it, man, and my heart and everything goes out, my respect, everything to you.
No, but just overall, my message is always just talk about it.
Yeah.
Just talk about it.
You're a very
and
positive,
don't
strong
deny
person. Even when I was telling you off air, like Michelle, I appreciate you took me to another place with the De La Hoya thing, and like you ain't Tat, let bygones be bygones. You guys are like a divorce. You toned me down, and that's a very powerful person that can do that. And thank you for sharing that. Really quick, focusing back on boxing. Favorite fighter and favorite fight. Favorite fighter and favorite fight of all time.
Okay, well I can only go with already retired, just because I don't like to choose sides.
Oh yeah. Your favorite retired fighter.
My favorite retired fighter has always been Oscar De La Hoya.
Nice.
Always.
Always.
I had the biggest crush on him growing up. I was
Really?
like 10, wearing T-shirts of his, dreaming of marrying that man. Like I was literally just so in love with him.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How about today? Is he still as hot as he was?
You know what? I don't see Oscar like that.
You don't?
Like, no, I think as a kid you grow up with your little crushes
Right.
and stuff. I mean, he's a good-looking guy, but
Right.
still, like it's just
like
it's not like that.
a new kid on the block. You grow up looking at it, and then you see them later, and well.
I thought it was pretty cool when
He's still a great-looking guy. Oscar.
No, yeah.
A lot of women love Oscar.
Yeah, of course. You can't go anywhere and they're flocking him. So he'll never have a problem there. But I think for me, it was just like a kid thing. I grew up admiring him. And so when I got to the point where Oscar was like, hey, Michelle, or I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, damn.
We're on first name basis now. Yeah. And that was to me really exciting.
And Oscar had some of the best fights ever.
Yeah, of course.
Some of the most historical fights you'll never forget. Win, lose, or draw, he always put on a show. And no matter what my differences is with Oscar, he hands down will be my favorite small, not heavyweight, but other than the heavyweight, the greatest fighter of all time. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
My favorite fighter is Mike Tyson, all hands down, because I think Mike Tyson started me in boxing. He's the reason why I even followed boxing when I was a kid. He was just a video game on Nintendo. Then when I found out that he was an actual real guy, I was like, what? This Mike Tyson punch-out thing is for real?
Yeah.
My mom was like, I remember my mom bugging out when she saw that there was a video game of him. Like, that's Mike Tyson, and I'm like, and it was this whole different. It kind of bonded me and my mom boxing. I grew up in foster care. I grew up with in a very, very weird dysfunctional home. So when I would be around my mom and we had any time to bond, it had a lot to do with boxing. And my mom was a huge boxing fan.
All my aunties were like, woo, Oscar! Trust me, everybody, all the ladies. I remember even back then, watching it and looking in the audience, and whenever they would flash to the audience, I mean, it seemed like 50% of them were women in the audience. So it's not if you have the ability to not just only be a talented fighter, but sex sells.
Yes.
So you just got to do what you got to do. But my favorite fight.
Yes, favorite fight.
I'd have to go with one that I've been to, just because I want to go off of energy. I want to go off of what I've personally experienced. I would have to say it was over in England when I went to watch Carl Froch rematch George Groves. It was in front of 80,000 fans at the Wembley Stadium. So I think it was because that moment was just whoa! I've never seen anything like that before. I mean, we've gone on to see Anthony Joshua do it and do it in front of 90,000 people after that. And then you go to fights like last weekend where you're always going to remember a fight like that. Yeah, they're great fights, don't get me wrong, but I have to go with the first fight I've personally witnessed in front of 80,000 British fight fans, and that was absolutely surreal.
I hope fight fans don't get offended with what I'm going to say as far as favorite fights go, or my favorite fight. I would also have to go with what I've been to. Yeah, there's nothing. It's nothing.
It's completely different than watching it on TV. So yeah, of course. And this is our career. Yeah. So off of what you've been able to witness in your career, what's been your best?
I have to say it's there's not a particular fight, but it was a couple fights, and people are just gonna hate that I'm saying this guy's name, man. But it's Floyd Money Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, like when he fought Hatton, when he fought Canelo, it was just that time in my life. I think
I wasn't there for Mayweather versus Hatton, but let me tell you, you do know that they ran out of beer.
Yes.
At the MGM Grand. How in God's name?
I don't know.
No Brits can drink.
They can drink. Well, check this out. I remember getting in the night, maybe about 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'm going back to my hotel room at the MGM. 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm coming back down because we had to be at Radio Row. And the same guys that were at the bar at 11 o'clock were still there at 5 a.m. And I was like, yo, their faces were all red. It's like 8 guys, I mean, they're bloodshot eyes, drinking beers, and that's how they ran out of beer.
Do you know what they call it? Do you know what they call it in England? So when you're going out, right? We just say, we're going out.
Right.
Well, when you know you're going out, it's out, out.
Out, out.
So they're like, oh, we're going out, out. So that's when you know it's an all-nighter.
Wow.
Like you're going till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
That's when you know. Now, I don't do out, out. Anyone who knows me knows I don't do out, out. So every time somebody would be like, oh, where are we going? We're going out, out. And they're like, oh, Michelle's going out.
Yeah.
My ass is back and forth. I like my bed. I like my PJs. I want to throw my hair up, take my makeup off, and fucking Netflix it until I'm asleep.
And you know what? I think that the Mayweather Hatton thing, why that fight stood out to me so much was because there were so many drunk Brits, and they were just, there's only one Ricky Hatton, and it was just so loud in there, and it was just, they would not stop, and then boom, he hits a turnbuckle and he falls, and he didn't just get knocked out, he got knocked the fuck out, and he was just tumbling everywhere, and you hear this thunderous crowd just go, like boom, like their hearts sunk.
Like when Joshua-Ruiz. Let me tell you something. I've never heard a crowd that silent.
Well, there you have it. Our favorite fights. Michelle Joy Phelps here, my guest co-host, filling in for my good friend Roxy. Tell you how thankful I am that you hung out with me all morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's not easy to wake up. You say you're not a morning person, and I appreciate you getting up, and you did a great job.
Thank you.
You did a great job, and I'm telling you, man, you should think about doing your own radio show, or your radio is your thing. You talk, you got a great voice, you got a great personality, and you got good punctuality. Your your grammar is very well spoken.
Thank you.
Good stuff. And
if I was settled more and not jumping from city to city every week, then I feel like I would love to do something more regularly, but unfortunately, I'm in a new city every week.
Before we do go, anything that you would like to say or promote, or your website, your social media platforms, and before you do go, Pacquiao Thurman, well, quickly, what's going on, Pacquiao Thurman?
Well, I mean, it is set. It's good to go for July 20th in.
And you don't predict fights. You don't.
I do not predict fights. No.
And you never will. You never will. That's
never will.
Because that's understandable. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, in your head, you predict fights like without saying it out loud. Or you keep it even that way, even when you're watching a fight.
I wouldn't be human if I didn't, in my mind, maybe perhaps think something.
I got Pacquiao beating Thurman.
Yeah.
I got Pacquiao.
It's a freaking great fight, though.
Yeah.
No matter what, we win. It is a really good fight. It's a 50-50. It's a good. It's one of those fights that you tune in and anything can happen. I mean, look, Thurman's is on the line. Pacquiao is 10 years older than Keith Thurman. It's going to be a competitive one. Does Pacquiao, the fact that he's a veteran in the game, does his experience, outweigh what Keith Thurman has at this point? I mean, is Keith he's clearly not as experienced as.
I lost my umph with Keith Thurman
From his last fight?
And just, I don't know, his delaying and I'm injured, and I don't know, his list gets on my nerves too. I don't know, that fucking list gets on my nerves.
Well,
I know that's not the you know what it is? It's just his absence to boxing, his calling out all these fighters, but yet you don't fight them. The last fight that he had, whack. The fight before that, whack. I thought he lost to Danny Garcia. You know what I'm saying? And just on top of it, I actually used to like Keith Thurman. I thought he was pound for pound. And then he just threw me in this radical, like, I'm a huge boxing fan. So I was like, nah, dog, I ain't feeling you. I don't like how you call out these fighters, but yet you don't fight them. And like I said, and then on top of that, you're doing it with your list. You know what I mean? So it's just like, yo, dog, this is getting annoying.
I think that Keith, this is for any fighters. It's a dangerous sport. Injuries are going to happen. He had a few injuries back to back. Had to have surgery. that will put anybody out. He went overseas. I don't remember exactly where he met his wife, but he met his wife overseas, got married, stayed a while over there, and came back home, started training, and here he was. Yeah, he didn't have his best performance against Josecito Lopez. A lot of people thought that.
Ooh, Josecito was coming back strong.
Sure as hell was.
He was coming back strong. He almost put the brakes on frickin' Keith Thurman.
Mm-hmm. But he just couldn't catch him in that round enough to get him to really close the deal. So obviously, a lot of people, they say that you're only as good as your last fight. We'll see.
I got a great question for you. Who is a prospect? Because you got Ryan Garcia, people are putting on, Virgil Ortiz. I think he's fucking badass. Who's a prospect that we should be looking out for, and who's a prospect that's a little overrated?
I can't answer the overrated.
Okay, well, who's?
You know me. I gotta.
Understood.
I think there's a lot, but you did mention Ryan Garcia. A lot of people still are up in the air about him though, because they feel like he's been more, more of a social media influencer,
right,
than a boxer. Which I can't. You can't knock someone. He's young too. You can't knock someone for taking advantage of what social media has to offer. He's a good-looking guy. Do I think that he could end up being like another Oscar De La Hoya in the sense that girls are just showing up just because they have crushes on him? Yeah, he's going to be a big-ticket seller so long as he continues to buckle down and concentrate. And I mean, I don't have anything negative to say about him. I think that there are a lot of up-and-coming guys that have a lot of potential. I think where we are,
there's a lot of good prospects right now.
But I think where we are,
what's his name? Haney. Oh yeah, he's good.
Which is a fight that obviously I was in Vegas when Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia were standing, facing off.
Right, so they fought in amateurs, and Devin Haney beat them.
Right, that would be a good fight, but I think it's a bit premature to go there. But it's funny because I feel like, and I'm pretty sure you feel this, like, I feel like I'm getting, as we get older and we start seeing the guys getting younger and younger, it's like, it's weird. I'm looking at these kids, right, that will one day probably be world champions and be the next, only God knows, the next Oscar or Floyd or so forth. And it's kind of cool to see them kind of start off being 17, 18, 19, 100%. And then watching them sort of grow into these men, right? So, but the dangerous part, Tad, is and will always be the influence that social media has today makes people feel like superstars before they're actually boxing superstars. So you can get caught up into it. So it's a dangerous, it could be a slippery slope if you don't catch yourself. And then you find these guys wanting to be famous as opposed to, boxing, champions. They say they want it, but then you see what they're doing on social media and you're like, they're not really living the life.
And I love Ryan. I think Ryan is on a great rise right now. His run is right in front of him. His life is in front of him. His future is in front of him. He's a good-looking guy. He has all rights to be on social media. Let him be on social media. But you just well said right there. Just before it, you got to remember and slow it down a little bit because at the end of the day, there's way more stardom ahead of you. If you think this is it, it's not. And I got to say this. Oscar De La Hoya said this very well to me. I asked him, you think Ryan is, he said, Oscar said, Ryan could be better than me. He could be better than me. Ryan Garcia could be better than Oscar De La Hoya. And I love that. Oscar is not an ego guy where he was like, me. He was like, no, he could be better. He could be the next De La Hoya. No, he could be better than De La Hoya because of the personal life. The personal life. He doesn't drink. He doesn't do drugs. He's not a little party animal. You know what I'm saying? And Oscar was like, that is what can take him to the next level. Is as long as he keeps that shit straight, he's gonna be
people just need to lay off Ryan a bit because they're like, oh, look at him posting this or posting. Let him do what he's got to do. As long as the guy's doing what he needs to do in the ring, you don't see a problem with him posting, model-like photos or you know, doing little posts that make the ladies go wild. Let him be. As long as we see him proving himself in the ring, fight after fight, there shouldn't be a problem with it.
All right. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to get on out of here. One more time, I want to thank my co-host, Michelle Joy Phelps, the founder of BehindTheGloves.com. Please go on that website, and if you love boxing, if you don't love boxing, it's a very, very entertaining website. Follow her Instagram at Michelle Joy Phelps, Twitter at Michelle Phelps. You can follow me on my Instagram at Tattoo the One. That's the only social media platform I have, and on our radio show, Tattoo and the Crew. That's Tat, the number 2, and the Crew. But we need you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's very important to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can watch all the highlights, you can watch all our videos, you can watch all the updates, posts, and all kinds of great stuff on our YouTube. You got to subscribe, Tattoo and the Crew. That's Tattoo and the Crew. Tell a friend also. Don't forget, if you missed any of the show, it runs back for you at 3 p.m. Pacific time right here on Victory Radio in its entirety. If you missed any of our boxing conversation, any updates, any Joe Grande Sports, Michelle Joy Phelps, 3 p.m. Pacific time right here